Welcome to the New Forest Business Podcast. I'm your host, John Carpenter. Spend time with me as I get to know the entrepreneurs and business owners in and around the forest. You'll discover their stories, business tips, and much more. Today, I am joined by Rebecca Hallam, founder of House of Boo, a beauty salon in Petersfield. Early in July, House of Boo, among other businesses, suffered devastatingly from a fire. From the ashes, Rebecca and her team are rising once again. We will be talking about the fire, how Rebecca's resolve did not break. It's not all going to be about that, though. I want to hear from Rebecca how House of Boo came to be, what services they offer, her business tips, and much, much more. Rebecca, welcome to the New Forest Business Podcast.
Hi, John. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So, Rebecca, take us back to the beginning. Just how did House of Boo come to be?
So I started my business over 15 years ago. I kind of was a little bit lost in life after doing high performance sales job for a long time. And I had also been doing special effects. So I did special effects for film and TV and worked for Netflix. And I quickly realized that I loved making people feel good about themselves and being able to change people's faces with makeup. And it kind of just went from there. So I put everything on the line, opened my first little shop and kind of invested everything into beauty and the aesthetics industry. And fast forward, 15 years later, I did have a huge super salon with 15 staff and I've won quite a lot of awards for everything that we've done.
See, I love how, successful business owners just brush over things so easy. I won a few awards. You've won a lot. There's no getting around that. You have been really successful as a business owner. Where did that come from? Did you always feel, that you wanted to be a business owner running a business, or did that happen organically? You found, actually, I'm pretty good at this.
So I don't know what it is. I just knew that I wasn't meant to be working a 9 to 5 for somebody else. Like, I just have always had this gut feeling. Like, if I'm honest, I'm probably unemployable. I'm so driven. I won't be told no by anybody. Like, if someone tells me no, I'm more determined to prove them wrong and show them that I can do it. So yeah, I just have always had the desire to create something for myself. And I love doing that. And I love women. I love women empowerment. And just for me, that was kind of key. And it kind of went from there, really.
We talked about that. We touched on it before recording. You love empowering women. You love women in business. You're a huge advocate for that. How do you go about that? What do you, I guess, how do you help with women in business or giving them that empowerment? Because I noticed, you do give a lot of time to people and give back. What do you do to help people, help women specifically?
What do I do? So I myself had a bit of a sticky start when I was younger, a long time ago, got mixed up with the wrong crowds, and a lot of people were very quick to write me off. And I've completely changed my life, turned it around. And I basically wanted to give back to other women what I didn't have. A lot of people wrote me off, were like, didn't want to help me. I was tarred with a certain brush. And I've worked so hard to prove that you can do anything you put your mind to. So for me now, having achieved the success that I have done, it was very important to me to give back and to help other women. So what I did at House of Boo is I've always mentored and supported other local business women that potentially might have not have had the money to be able to get a high street premise. So in my new clinic, which I only opened 6 months ago, next to my main salon, House of Boo, I had suites built, which I hired out to local business women, and I basically supported, mentored them, helped them with social media, business, absolutely everything, treatments, and just helped to make them grow and grow their businesses. And I just love it. I just love to help women, and I love to see people succeeding.
Well, I love to hear. I've talked about it on the podcast before. I think it's a real gift for successful business owners to give back to people, expertise, time,
Yeah.
knowledge, whatever it may be, because it's so valuable. So, it's really nice to hear you do that. And then, I know you do that. How do you find the time though? When you're running, running a business, anything else you've got going on in life as well. There's always, life admin, things are going on. You've got a team to maintain. We know everything else that going on as well. So how do you find the time to actually give to people? 'Cause knowing you as I do a little bit now, I can tell it's not something you would do half-hearted. If you were going to help someone, you would actually help someone rather than, doing it half-hearted. You don't strike me as that kind of person. So how do you find that time?
I think personally, I've sacrificed quite a lot. I don't have children. I've got horses and a dog, which I love. But for me, I also have ADHD, very honest about that. And I don't stop. I'm absolutely relentless and I love it and I thrive on it. And I know this sounds kind of cliche, but there is enough hours in the day to do whatever you put your mind to.
I know some people may disagree and say there's not enough time, but you clearly find the time. Um,
Absolutely. And I think if you're passionate about something, you can find the time to do it. And, I have a really good work life balance. And I still manage to get everything done and to a high level and to support all of the girls. So it works for me. As you say, it might not work for everybody, but it works for me. And I kind of proven that you can be successful by doing that.
Absolutely. And like I said, I love, I appreciate, and I think it's a great thing to give back to help people, women in business, it's fantastic. So
It's so important to give back to people, whether it be women or anybody. I just believe in life that you should always give back to people because you never know what you might gain from that opportunity and that experience. I feel like we're always learning and you're never at the top of your game. So by giving back might elevate me to a next level, yeah, that's kind of what I believe.
no, I completely agree. Completely agree. So Rebecca, under one roof, I understand that might be a little bit tricky at the moment, but you've tended to offer numerous amounts of treatments and services as a business. It's fine. I mean, you know exactly what I mean. But what, why? What was the thought process? Behind that, you obviously got your own qualifications. You could have just maybe stuck to aesthetic and rather than branching out to different things. But yeah, what was the idea behind that? Why? What brought that on?
Well, I think, the bottom line is I am a businesswoman and I am very entrepreneurial. And I saw that there's a gap in the market and that, a lot of these other places, they just offer one treatment or, you go to a hairdresser's, you just get your hair done. And I saw that there was a massive gap in the market where you could have everything under one roof and have a super salon. And I do remember when I opened, so I had my previous business premises for 9.5 years. And it was actually 2 years ago that I moved in the new salon. And a lot of people said to me, like, wow, you've kind of got everything under one roof. And I was like, yeah, it wasn't by accident. I'm a businesswoman. So I saw that there was a gap in the market and I wanted to bring everybody together. And also for me, it was always my dream, just to offer everything to every woman so that they could go to one place, feel amazing, and just get whatever done. Even if they're coming in for a coffee, they feel good about themselves. They don't have to have a treatment. They could just pop in. Like I built a community, and that to me was really important.
Where did that come from? Because I feel you know businesses can build a community and help each other and support each other, like you do. But where's that feeling of community come from? It seems to come from deep within that aspect to your business.
Because I never felt part of a community. Like I've always struggled with the ADHD. I have bipolar. I've always kind of been, as I say, I also had a very difficult childhood where I was hard with a certain brush and I never felt like I belonged anywhere. So for me, it was to create a sense of belonging and I've created that community for myself.
Mm. No, that's fantastic. With the ADHD and bipolar, there will be people listening who potentially maybe hold themselves back from exploring running a business because maybe like you, they didn't think they could or didn't have the upbringing or whatever it might be, whatever reasons. But and obviously that's part of your academy and what you talked about, maybe helping people, women in those positions. But maybe you could talk about actually maybe the positive side of maybe having ADHD, for example, and how that actually might be a a real positive to running the business and helping you be, an entrepreneur?
So for me, I just want to say to anybody that is potentially watching this that might struggle with mental health, ADHD, autism, absolutely anything. It was so important to me because, I think a lot of people are very quick to write you off nowadays. If you tell them you have mental health issues, if you have autism or you have ADHD, it was so important to me to prove people wrong. I don't care, whether you've got this or you've got purple spots. You can do anything that you put your mind to, and nobody should put you in a box and tell you that you can't do it. Nobody. Even if you're doing it to a smaller level and it works for you, you're still doing something that you love. And for that to me is priceless. So it's super important for me to get that message across to anybody that you can do anything that you want to do and that you want to put your mind to.
Amazing. I
And if
love
it makes you happy, who is anyone else to question it?
Exactly. Exactly. So you've touched on your team already. You've got a number of people working with you, obviously, which helps you offer the amount of services that you do. Recruitment can be an area, Rebecca, where businesses come unstuck.
Yeah.
So what do you look for when you're bringing someone in under your umbrella? Because obviously now you've built the brand, you've got the reputation, you're hugely successful. You've won numerous awards, even if you wanted to downplay at the beginning. Um, so what do you look for when you're bringing someone in? Because I'm guessing there must be particular elements of their personality and things
Yes.
like that you're looking for.
Don't get me wrong. I have learned some lessons from this and, it's bitten me in the bum a few times, but you've got to have someone that's a team player, somebody that I feel that you can mold into your vision and somebody that wants to learn. I've had people that have been family or friends and you think they're going to be the perfect fit because you want to help them out or, and actually that never works. You have to just go with your gut instinct. Is testing at times. Absolutely. It does take a lot of training, but I just feel like you just know when you've got the right people.
Definitely. I think that's a real key thing, actually, especially about working with family and friends. And that can actually be difficult in my area because, they take things for granted and, it can be difficult to work with. And I'm sure it's the same for you, but actually picking the right people, you have sometimes got to trust, your gut and know what you're looking for. And sometimes they not necessarily what they put down on paper, but actually the feeling you
Yeah.
get from someone, that's
I learned a very hard lesson recently prior to this, which I won't go into too much. But it taught me a lot. It really taught me a lot. And actually, I should have trusted my gut a long time before it got to that point, but I kind of let it slide, let it slide, let it slide. And unfortunately, that's, at the end of the day, business is business. And I think we all need to remember that as much as we love our friends and we love our family, business is business. And you have to do what's right for you and your business and your other staff.
definitely, definitely, ultimately it's what pays your bills
Yeah.
and, everything else. And you've got that reputation. Once you built that reputation, you have to protect it because they're hard to build and easy to break.
100%. And yeah, I very much nearly suffered at the hands of that. I've worked hard for 15 years to get my reputation and my brand to where it is. And literally within the click of a finger, if your eye is not on the ball with your staff, it's all gone. And it can be so damaging and so hard to get back. But fortunately, I caught it just in time and we moved.
That's what I want to hear. So, Rebecca, I mentioned it obviously at top in the introduction. For anyone unaware, talk to me about the fire, what happened, and the impact on House of Boo.
So on the 3rd of August, which is 6 weeks this Thursday coming, we were at work and we didn't know, but there was an absolutely devastating fire which happened in one of the flats above my premises. And it's taken out 5 businesses and 5 residential flats. And yeah, at the moment, we're not in our premises due to how severe the fire was. My new clinic training academy and the suites where I housed all of my self-employed girls is absolutely obliterated. The roof has dropped through 2 floors into the back of my clinic. And my main clinic has suffered severe smoke and water damage. And the one of the flats upstairs is kind of with all of the, I don't know the technical terms, but all of the kind of rubble is sitting just above my shop roof. So it's been absolutely devastating for myself and my team, and also for the other business owners that have suffered in this, and for the residents that have also lost their homes. Yeah.
I've told you, privately, and I'll say on here, but I think yours and your team's response has been remarkable, and you should be immensely proud of that. You didn't allow it to break you, which would have been easy. It would have been so easy to just, crikey, how do I come back from this? But you didn't let it break you or stop you.
No.
How did you make sure that it didn't? Because it's easy to go, no, it did break me. How did you make sure that you could continue?
Um, Within 48 hours, myself and one of my colleagues, and also one of my best friends, Louise and I were like, I've worked too hard. A lot of people, I have been very successful with what I've done. And I think sometimes you get a lot of people that look at you and think, oh, they've all got something to say. But for me, I was like, I've worked too hard to let this ruin my business, or to give people a reason to be like, oh, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I literally was like, I'm determined. I'm not going to stop. And the bottom line is I've got staff, I've got other women that need me to lead this ship forward. And so within 48 hours, we secured a new location, not as big as what we previously had. And it, as I say, it's just temporary for a year. However, I'm also working on some other bits to try and kind of tide us over until we can go back. But we will be going back. I had a meeting a couple of weeks ago with my landlords, the insurance companies, etc. And as I say, it's just going to take time. It's going to take time, but we're going to be going home. Um, and also, I won't let this stop me. Like, I do believe that everything happens for a reason. I'm very much a big believer in that. And, yes, it's been very stressful. Yes, I've been absolutely devastated by it, but I've learned so many lessons from this in the last 6 weeks already. And it just makes me more determined than ever to come back bigger and better.
It doesn't surprise me. It's not going to, stop you. And I was going to ask when you can expect to go back. Sounds like obviously that's a little while away. Yeah, obviously, there's a lot to do, but I can imagine there's going to be a big reopening party for you. And I think, I said to you before we started, I think, you go from strength to strength from this. And I think, it's a real lesson for anyone listening who does come across adversity, of how you respond. Speaks a lot about you as a person, as a businesswoman. I think there's a big lesson to learn for all of us there, really.
And also, I'm kind of grateful for it happening. I wouldn't have said that maybe 2 weeks, a couple of days after it happened, but I am actually really grateful that it happened, because I do believe that it's kind of teaching me some lessons. I'd already been highly successful at what I was doing, and I kind of feel like it's going to push me to explore different directions for me as a business owner. Um, yeah. And as I say, I do believe everything happens for a reason. We will be back in about a year's time. That's kind of what we all have been told to expect. Not necessarily into the new clinic that was only open 6 months ago, because that's quite severely damaged. However, um, we'll be opening again, having a massive party, and you'll have to come down.
Oh, I would love to. And I like the fact that you said you might be securing other premises or whatever it might be to help
Yeah.
cover your services in the meantime. Again, that doesn't surprise me. Um, but yeah, no. Hopefully, it all goes well with the kind of moving forward. So, you obviously have a number of experiences. You've been doing this for a number of years now. So, from that, Rebecca, what would be your main business tips for anyone listening?
Oh God. My main business tips is to never give up, believe in yourself, and I wouldn't listen to what anyone else has to say, because they're always doing less than you.
Oh, I like that. That's a good one. They're doing less than you.
And I'm a firm believer in that. People have got something to say about you, is because they're doing less than you. So never listen. I was actually today speaking with a lovely lady who reached out to me on Instagram, and she was having a bit of a bad time, and I just pretty much said exactly that to her. Just don't listen to anybody. Just follow your dreams, do what you want to do, and you can do anything you put your mind to.
It's easy, I think someone might say it's easy for you to say that because you're here, you're 15 years down the line, you've got everything, all the accolades behind you. But how do you make sure that you, certainly maybe early on, you weren't distracted by any noise? Did you write down goals? Did you write down what you wanted to achieve? Or how did you make sure that you kept yourself driven? Or is that maybe more inbuilt and nothing was going to stop?
I've had a very hard life, actually, very, very hard life, which I've actually written a book about, which I won't go into too much on here. It was only last March I paralyzed myself, and I'm back here now, doing this. So a lot of people can sit and say that you've achieved this, but I've also had it really hard. And I'm just very much a believer. It's positive mental mindset. And, as I say, you can do anything you put your mind to. I couldn't honestly tell you that I've written these things down. I just get up every day and I know that I'm going to do this.
Amazing. No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't doubt that for a moment. So, Rebecca, excluding the fire, which obviously has been a massive hurdle, what are the other hurdles that that you've had to overcome in the last 15 years?
Well, I've had the loss of loved ones. Um, Business has not always been easy. As you say, a lot of people probably look at me and think she's got everything, but it has been hard. I just don't show it, and I don't ever let it get to me. And as I say, last year I paralyzed myself again. But you just got to keep on going and overcome these hurdles, because life is never going to stop. If we all just stopped and said we're not going to do this anymore, we're not going to get anywhere. You just have to be consistent. Consistency is key, positive mindset, and you've just got to keep going one foot in front of the other every day. Just keep moving, small steps.
But I can see why women come to you for either for guidance or positivity, whatever it is. They're a business owner. They come to you. I can see why. I feel like I should come to you. If you gave me going the more, I think you'd help a lot of people.
Well, that's one of my next plans. So I am, as I say, obviously just due to losing the academy and stuff, I have got lots of things that I'm working on with my team. I am going to be launching some kind of mentorship, some coaching. I've got some ebooks up my sleeve, which is called Rising from the Ashes. Funnily enough. But yeah, I just want to share my experiences with people. I just really believe that, I just want to help everybody, whether it be women or men. If I can help anybody, I just feel like I've done something good.
There you go. Anyone listening, that is a great tip. Help people. Share your experience, share your knowledge. It's invaluable. Invaluable.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a lot harder to answer, I think, for you, Rebecca, because there's going to be a lot. So try and narrow it down if you can. What have been the main standout highlights for you since you started?
My career,
Yeah.
well, working for Netflix, winning Businesswoman of the Year a couple of years running, and going from just being me, having 15 staff in my dream salon. Yeah, the list is endless. I'm just so grateful for everything. And I'm just so grateful to be living this life.
What were you doing when you were working for Netflix?
Special effects, makeup.
Wow.
So I worked on Game of Thrones, Maleficent, Mamma Mia. So I specialize in horror special effects. That's kind of how I kind of got into changing faces, and my passion for it just went from there with makeup. And that's why I kind of got into aesthetics, because I really realized that you can make such a difference to someone's life by just giving them little enhancements. So yeah, that's kind of how I started.
Amazing. I used to work with someone who used to do makeup, and she would do just the most incredible things on someone's face for Halloween. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, how have you done that? There's all 3D effects, and it still, blows my mind. So pretty amazing though to have those opportunities.
Yeah.
That's tough to beat for anyone. For like some career highlights working for Game of Thrones, for example. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So, Rebecca, looking ahead then for the rest of 2025 and beyond, what's in store for you and your business?
So we're going to be securing our kind of getting our location back.
Mm.
I'm working on launching my coaching for people. Another big thing for me and House of Boo is we've been asked to sponsor the Petersfield ladies rugby team, which is a first, because they've never had a women's rugby team. So for me, that's super important, to empower these women and to kind of get behind them. Um, and also just to kind of get my girls back up. I just want all of my girls to be up, running, smashing life, and all of us just be winning together. It's never about me winning. It's about all of us winning together. That's the most important thing to me.
And what makes a true leader?
There's no I in team.
No,
We're all in it together. And that is what's so important to me. And a lot of people I think a lot of people think it is just me at House of Boo. It's not. It's all of these girls which make House of Boo what it is.
amazing. So, Rebecca, before I let you go, for anyone looking to find House of Boo, where do they need to go?
So we're currently located at the Lisa Redwood Salon in Petersfield. We have kind of taken it over. We are leasing it at the moment. You can also, I'm sure John will pop our website details on the bottom, but
Yeah.
also Instagram as well. So yeah, if anyone wants to come and see us and pop in for a free consultation or kind of, get some information about any of the girls, what all of my staff offer treatment wise, happy to help.
Brilliant. Rebecca, thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me, John.